The revolution's begun. The time to stand up has come. We are the rocking of the throne. We are the rocking of the throne.
My name is Victor Tiffany, co-founder of Revolt Against Plutocracy, and tonight we have with us Lisa McCormick, candidate for U.S. Senate in New Jersey. Lisa, thanks for joining me.
Thank you. It's good to be here. I really believe in what you're doing with the CFAR, and I was at a meeting tonight and I was promoting the group because they were trying to get together and put together a questionnaire so that they could properly evaluate candidates. And even in their questionnaire, they were asking things like, is the wording strong enough? And I referred them to you because, progressive students, they're more new at this and they're not used to it as much, and they need to ask questions in ways that they understand them. I think, the jargon of the politician gets confusing for people, and they think, oh yes, I think that politician is supporting my cause or doing what I want, but I don't really understand what they're saying. And how do I ask it in a way that's detailed enough that gives me the answer in a way that I understand it to make sure that I want to vote for them? And I thought that, your contract was a good way, and I recommended that they come and, check out your site.
Well, speaking of questionnaire, I have a few questions for you tonight, beginning with, why don't you just tell us about yourself, your background, and why it is you're running for U.S. Senate?
Okay, well, I actually started, I ran in 2010, I ran for county clerk, and I ran for with a team, and we ended up getting 47% of the vote against an incumbent candidate who was there for 30 years. And so with this teamwork, we had a lot of success. So what we want to do, as in New Jersey, is get statewide candidates, progressive candidates elected. I work with Jim Devine, my campaign manager, who wants to get more progressive candidates in every office so that we can work together as a team. I think one of the biggest obstacles to running for office is staying motivated as a progressive. We want to do the right thing. And when you're motivated for money, or you can take campaign contributions, you can get off, like you start with the good intentions, and maybe you end up compromising in the electoral process along the way by taking money for your campaign and then losing the values that you start with. So,
okay. So why is it then that you signed the contract for American Renewal?
Because I want people to know that I'm answering my questions from the heart. It's not something that, I'm going to say today and change my mind depending on who's in the room. I think people want to hear, when I say I want to tax the rich, I don't want to go in the other room with the rich and say, oh no, I don't really want to tax the rich. I want to give a consistent answer for every question, and having the contract, is a way for people to measure that I'm going to do what I say I'm going to do.
Right. I look at the items on this contract. There's a infrastructure plank or policy position. There's Medicare for all, which is very expensive. There's free college for qualified students. These are pretty pricey items. You're a tax and spend liberal, aren't you?
I understand that that's, that would be a category that people want to throw in there. And then I'll look at the defense budget where we doubled the expenses that what we need for our country, and we're okay with spending that on weapons and the military, but we're not okay with spending it on Americans and moving our country forward. I'm reading the book Screwed by Tom Hartman, and he goes into explaining how when you declare a war, not against a country, but against something like terrorism, you're declaring a war on a behavior, not an enemy, and so you're getting a perpetual war. And what happens with this investment is we're putting all this money into bombs and guns and things that we blow up and use once. Whereas if we put money into our infrastructure and our school systems, we're going to get hundreds of years. We could get 100 years out of the bridges and the improved school buildings. And whereas, you know, in a bomb or a gun, we're basically robbing the money that we could use to build our country and just you know, blowing it up.
Right. That's kind of what President Eisenhower stated at one point in his presidency. Which of these policy positions that you've signed on to do you think you're going to emphasize most, either on the stump or in a debate or in an interview maybe like this with a local radio station? Which of these policy positions are of greatest interest and that you're most passionate about?
Well, the one that I started is with the election, the fairness in elections, and getting the corrupt money out of elections. I'd like to see. I don't know that a voucher program is necessary. I was looking at the campaigns and election laws, and I think if we enforce them and don't accept all these contributions from corporations, we could actually reduce the need to come up with such large figures to run for office. And when you're able to have more people run for office and you have a more competitive environment, you don't need to be a millionaire to run for office, and it's going to widen the field of people who are eligible. So, which in turn would help with term limits and having, you know, and when you have somebody running against you, you want to perform like your contract says. You want to meet your standards or be replaced by somebody who says, you know, you're not doing what you want to do when that you campaigned on. You campaigned on corporate corruption, and you didn't restrict the amount of money that corporations could give or you know, make things better for running for office.
And how do you expect to deploy this contract, for example, maybe on your website, or you're going to bring it up during debates or interviews again, or send out a press release? How do you expect to deploy this contract so that all the voters across New Jersey know that you're a CFAR candidate?
Well, as a progressive candidate, without tens of millions of dollars in my campaign fund, I am driving a lot of traffic to my website because it is a way for people to reach out and look at my website and check out the values that I stand. I would love to do TV advertising and interviews, but you know, when you're trying to work within a fixed budget, you want to reach as many people as you can without, you know, spending everything, you know, tens of millions of dollars on TV ads.
And you're in a primary against Senator, remind me of his last name.
Bob Menendez.
Menendez. Why do you want, why would voters want to vote for you and not Senator Menendez?
Well, my favorite approach to talking about that is he's been in office for 25 years. And I think that, you know, that is a problem in itself. I mean, 25 years of service when you have a 6-year term, you are more likely to get corrupted because you end up amassing a great amount of power and influence when you're in a position for such a long time. And the best thing to do would be to have somebody else in office and take over the position so that you're not subject to bribery and misuse of power.
Lisa, appreciate that. Good luck with your campaign, and we appreciate you joining us this evening. Thank you.
Great, thanks for your time, and like I said, I'm a big fan, so keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Revolt Against Plutocracy won't just be covering the news about the necessary revolution in the United States. Sometimes we'll be making the news. If you want to stay on top of the revolutionary actions and strategies of grassroots, genuine progressives, and our allies, please subscribe to our YouTube channel today.